Hi guys. Hey, how's it going? Can you let me know that everything's working? I'm gonna drop the slides and the thing. Okay. And I'm just testing audio real quick. Just make sure. I'm actually set up at an Airbnb because I'm at my sister's wedding. And unfortunately, I was dealing with like a psychopath user just now recently. It's like really unsettling. Like, we help a lot of people. I've helped like hundreds globally since the pandemic, mentored them pro bono, and I currently help like half a dozen people who are literally homeless. They can only meet with me in their car, and it's like the problem is like I don't have the health really to meet with all these people, and so some people are not like, I don't know, they didn't understand, or they just like go crazy. And maybe I can understand if you're like super desperate that maybe you need to do certain things and get very angry and things like that. But I'm not the one to be angry at, I think. I'm the one like helping people. Like if you want to, this guy's like threatening to harm me. He's like threatening to come harm me if I don't help him. And we get these like psychopaths sometimes, and I like, if you harm me and if I die and this service goes down, that's kind of dumb, right? Like you don't get any help, no one's going to help you. So it's not doing anything. I don't think that's like conducive or anything to usefulness to anyone that's going to help you. I just, sorry to bring everyone down, but I just want to talk about that because he was like just literally yelling at me, kind of crazy. Okay, so um, really quick, we're in class 3 now, so I just wanted to recap what we'll be doing today, and we can't really stay long because I'm at my sister's wedding. That's why, like, in a different place. We're in a Airbnb near my sister's wedding, and I have to go and do stuff. And it was like an effort even to get here. I like, some of you may know I don't have like the greatest health, and so like takes an effort just to get down here and things. So, but we made it, and we have some exciting news for today. So we got into Antler.co. This is a accelerator basically. So it's like they'll give us mentorship and help us uh, reach product market fit, and essentially like provide like a network and things like that. It's like a Hogwarts for startups basically. So the bleeding edge. So basically, today's class will cover how to build agents, how to go over building agents. The last two classes, we covered going over how to set up your core agent team and how to validate ideas. These are actually concepts anyone can apply, even from a text editor. You don't need cheat layer, and like that's why we make this course free. We don't charge for this course. It's a free course on YouTube. You can share it with friends who need it. In fact, if you know anyone who's like struggling and things like that, feel free to share this with them because there's a lot of core concepts that are applicable. Even if you like, you can use many different automation tools and website builders and things like that to achieve some of these tasks. So okay, let me just make sure everything is still connected because we're on a new connection. I just want to, okay, audio is still connected and the internet wasn't so great earlier, but it should be fine now. Okay, so we got to get to really quickly through today's class because I have to go right after this. And then what we'll probably do is we'll probably add another class because there's just not enough time to cover everything. So in today's class, we'll cover how to build agents, all the fundamentals of building agents. And then we'll have another class for next weekend, Saturday, 12 p.m. EST, same time, probably on Open Agent Cloud, which is the interesting, exciting thing that we've gotten built this last week. And so Open Agent Cloud is something that allows us to actually run instances, instantly run all of our agents in the cloud without installing anything locally. It's something we've been working on for a long time, so you don't have to install anything locally. And then you can even upload a Loom video to generate the agent. So it should be much easier, and essentially probably the way most people end up building things at the end. So All right, let's get back here. Let's see. All right, so how to set up autoresponder. Okay, so oh yeah, let's go over what we did in last class real quickly before I cover how to build agents. So in the last class, we basically, there's a few things that I missed over the last class. So we didn't, I think we didn't set up the autoresponder. Let's see. And the outbound, I forgot to mention, the outbound email agent is automatically set up if you log into Google Workspace. So it'll just, as long as you have the Chrome extension installed, the email agents will start working. And the only thing for the phone agents is you need to set up Twilio. So, okay, we covered everything else in that. These are just notes from the last class. And, oh yeah, let's review some top landing pages. Okay, so I asked some people to submit landing pages for, let's see who got the most votes. Okay, there's one. I remember this one. Okay, cool. Yeah, so this is a little hard to read, but it looked like they kind of listened to finding a burning and frequent and like a problem that isn't on Google. So that was a good job. It's a generally good design. What I would do is maybe this image is a little bit hard to read, so I would regenerate the hero image, or you can generate another hero image. And then let's see if this is, let me go to sign in. Oh, cool. No, uncheck. Okay. And then the other big thing we'll want to do in these landing pages is make sure to link your Vercel and GitHub API key. And then it will it'll set you up so that you can actually, when you click this link, you'll actually sign in and things. Okay. Frequently asked questions. Oh, is it good? Is it cool? Did you build this? That's nice. And then get in touch. Okay, so yeah, make sure we usually don't want this like get in touch thing unless if you have like a way to validate it more strongly. Like if you have a way to sign up, then this is better because then you can actually charge customers. Most people just fill this out on a whim. It's not really that strongly validating. And everything else looks pretty okay. Cool. This is a good idea. This is a good one. Let's go back to a few more. So we're going to extend the deadline for these landing pages because I feel like we didn't really, like the updates from Google Chrome didn't really come out. Let's check this one. Oh yeah, we saw this one. So AI-powered email management. Hold on. Oh, this one's good too. Effortless GDPR compliance is a good one. So GDPR is a big problem. And I think you can even automate getting customers because what you could do is you could automate looking for websites that are not GDP compliant, like that don't have any cookie consent, or you can maybe even automate signing up to websites and seeing how they handle data and things like that. So there's some interesting interesting paths for growth there. There's a huge market. I guess it's a burning problem. I don't know. I feel like these like policy-based startups are risky because the policies could change. Like, I think crypto is also one of those policy-based startups, unfortunately. So, okay, let's go back. So that was a good one. Let's see, one more maybe. Okay, cancellations last minute. I think this was a good one too. Oh, but I think they needed to add images. Let's check. Okay, yeah. So this was a good one. They just need to add images. Is for I think salons. Let's see. Hold on, let me go back to the post. Hairdressers, yeah. Okay, so that seems like a big problem. Also, this was like a problem with my dog, I think. Dogs have grooming problems too. It's not canceling last minute, but we have the problem of finding a good groomer. So that's like local services still doesn't seem to be solved, and in some regions it's like a huge problem. So I feel like there's something there. There's a good opportunity to maybe automate solving it by finding the customer or finding the groomer, the business basically. Yeah. This is a little bit verbose though for a landing page. Maybe you want to have like you don't have to explain things to people, or people don't need like they don't spend a lot of time on these landing pages actually. And so you might want to have like very improve the copywriting to be like succinct and easier to read and things like that. Okay. That's just reviews of these landing pages. The purpose of these landing pages are just to validate ideas before you build the agent. We're going to show you how to start building agents today, just to ramp people up who are completely non-technical. Okay, and then let's see. Let's see. And okay, now let's cover building agents. Okay, we're good on time too as well. So in this class, we're going to actually cover the fundamentals of building agents. We have 3 main modalities in cheat layer and building agents, and each are actually important. So like I mentioned in the last few classes, what we believe to be product market fit is uploading a Loom video and turning that into an agent. That will solve a lot of issues. In fact, technically it could solve all 3, but they're just like better ways to do things sometimes, you know? So for example, the problem the Loom video actually solves is this loss expertise problem, which is like the largest unsolved problem in enterprises. Every enterprise has Loom videos. They all transfer SOPs, but they all also have loss expertise when like employees, contractors, we've had like governments contact us with the same issue as well. And so it seems to be the largest unsolved problem that we're hearing from many different people. And so that's what we're working on. That's a big part of product market fit. The other modality we have is Project Atlas, which is this chat interface. So it looks like this. Let me go full screen so it's easier to see. I gotta keep watching the time though if I do that. All right. So Project Atlas is basically the idea that it solves the problem of open-ended automations that maybe you don't know how to solve. So a good example was when we were trying to figure out a QR code like last week or 2 weeks ago. We didn't know that it was possible to do it, so we gave Project Atlas the image of the QR code and asked it to figure it out, and it generated the Python code to solve it. You can also do open-ended navigation problems. So you can give it like a list of websites and have it sign up to the website, and like even scrape things like emails, even if they're like in images or in different designs, and have it navigate through and things like that. The reason it's able to do this is because it has a state machine, which considers the current state of the screen. What a state machine is basically is it allows you to break up an action into several different steps that have specific states. And it kind of gives a machine an ability to create like this loop that turns it into kind of a program basically that constantly runs. So humans like kind of have a state machine. You kind of keep thinking about what your state is before you do the next thing. So that's kind of like what a state machine is. So Project Atlas has this ability to forward build the automation, even if you don't know exactly what it is, but just give it a goal. And we needed to solve that actually, the state machine, before we got the Loom video feature working. So it was important, but also it solves a problem the Loom video doesn't solve, which is if you don't have the video of what you're trying to solve, then how do you build the agent? So both are necessary actually. And then there's one more modality that we think is necessary. So we think both of these modalities are necessary in the future for agents, like the ideal product market fit. And the other modality that's necessary is we need humans to interact with them. And so most efficiently, it seems people really enjoy drag drop interfaces. So we have this for many reasons. Like it allows you to visually represent things. It makes it easier to create loops and branches and things like that. With it condenses a lot of information spatially that's required in the automation and things. So it's kind of iterating towards an ideal goal itself. But it was what we started with. Like we only had no code editors like in the last decade and last phase of automation. So the next phase of automation will be Project Atlas, probably. Most tools will probably use something like Project Atlas, where you just ask what you want and it builds it for you. And then I think we might be the first to do this thing where you upload a video, Loom videos, and it captures expertise for you. But they all still need the no-code editor. And the reason is both of these new experimental things, the Loom video and Project Atlas, they are limited in complexity because they rely on the model to execute. The no-code editor relies on humans and their complexity, their context limit. And so Project Atlas and the Loom videos will, for now, have a limited context limit based on the models. But it's a pretty big context limit, like it's 3 million tokens and things like that. But it's like it's still limited, which means that the no-code editor is a path to always build any automation. And it's kind of like understanding the basic math before we get into more advanced things. Sorry, my dog is calling. Okay. So, all right. Let's see. Let's go into maybe building some of these things now. Let's see if there's questions. Oh yeah, we're gonna report them to the police. I mean, we live in New Hampshire, we have guns. I don't think he's gonna show up, but I mean, if he shows up, he's gonna find out I'm not the one to be mad at. And we have friends. So, all right, no questions though. Let's see. And let's start building one of these agents. No questions. Okay, now let me start showing you how to set some of these things up. So the most common pattern on the internet is a search page and something else, like a search page and a product page, or a search page and a profile page. And we teach this because if you learn this pattern, you learn how to automate most of the internet. And we taught this in other boot camps too. It's kind of fun, but it's pretty effective too. Like Amazon, eBay, Google, CheatLayer, they all have this like this pattern basically. And so all automations are either scraping data, filling out forms, or using APIs. Let me show you how to build this pattern. So then using OpenAgent Studio, so you should be able to automate most websites. It's a very common pattern. So let's go to maybe LinkedIn. Okay. Search for machine learning. And let's see. Go to people. All right. So we've already installed OpenAgent Studio, I assume. But if you haven't, you can follow the instructions on the interactive onboarding here. Basically download the Mac and Windows version. We're kind of running out of time today, so I want to get through things quickly. And then once you've installed the Mac and Windows version, you'll be set up here into the no-code editor. I'm going to hit File New. In the no-code editor, we have on the left-hand side 26 no-code buttons. On the right-hand side, we have a quick launch menu, and then logs for outputs. And then in the middle, we have the graph, which allows us to build automations using a drag-drop no-code interface. What that basically means is we can put actions from this side into the graph, and they'll perform the automation step by step. And so, so let's now go through the process of maybe building one of these. Let's do a search page and a product page in Amazon. This same pattern applies everywhere, actually. So if you learn this pattern, you can automate most websites. And it also teaches some of the fundamentals in OpenAgent Studio. So let's double click the start node, middle of the screen. Let's see if my audio is still going. Okay, good. And then the start node is optional. It's useful when making robust automations that are scheduled or agents that are scheduled and things like that. You can paste this. Right at the end of where it says chrome.exe, and it'll add the website at the end. And if you do that, it'll allow you to open this website again as a starting point, but you can also put in like the location of any program or file or folder, and that will also work for the start node. So I'm just going to close that and hit Control R just to test it, or file run will also run it. Okay, so that's going to open up the search page. All right, for now this next step, we should make sure the Chrome extension is also installed. And not installed in any other browser. It's in our cheat layer profile like we did last time. And then let's go back to the editor and add the Magic Scraper node. It's useful for scraping operations. The Magic Scraper allows you to scrape things using English targets. So you can scrape anything on the page using English targets, like for example, email address or the name of the website. But you can also add logical reasoning onto those operations. So it's kind of very interesting. Now the Magic Scraper tends to be one of the more valuable nodes in OpenAgent Studio. So let's say, oh yeah, the links. LinkedIn user profiles. And then we have some options in the Magic Scraper node. We can select Scrape Browser, which is optional. If you don't select Scrape Browser, it'll just scrape what's on the screen visually. But we added this because this allows it to be 100% replacement for previous selector strategies like CSS path and XPath. What that means is they're brittle strategies like CSS path and XPath that work in the browser. And if we hadn't implemented this, we would still need to use them, but we no longer need to use them at all. So we've 100% switched to semantic English targets in everything. So this is actually just a new way of doing things, you'll realize. And the reason we have these boot camps and we teach people is because we've been focusing on like enterprise grade solutions and not the SMB market or individual customers. But this is good for you because that means that you get like this extremely high value product. The way enterprise normally works is you don't build for like thousands of people, you build for one customer and you build very specific things for that one customer. And that's why we don't have documentation or any self-service way to do things. I was trying to explain this to that guy who was calling earlier. Like we don't have any self-service way to do things because in enterprise grade, you have to build very specific things and you have to meet with everyone and you have to understand their problems and help them build things. And so we're still doing that, but like the path to product market fit actually involves targeting the SMB market as well. So we're only now starting to do that. And that's why we still personally onboard all customers. There's no self-service tutorials, but it helps us iterate the product to product market fit, and it's worth it. It's important. Like the way we're doing things is not normal, but it's important. And let me get back to the Magic Scraper. Okay, so my point is this is extremely valuable in most automations, and we've basically completely replaced all old selector strategies. And if you want to do that scrape off-screen elements, you have to use this scrape browser mode, and then you can select like other HTML elements and things like that. I think in the future maybe we'll like automate this probably so that it detects that you need to use the browser and it'll use it for you. But for now you can select it. So if you don't select this, it'll just scrape things that are on the screen and stuff like that. Okay. So let's run that. You can tell it's working if like the visual indicator we do for now is it scrolls to the bottom of the screen. We'll probably add like a loading bar or something. So it scrolled to the bottom of the screen, and then in like your console output, you'll see that there's links. You won't see this. You'll probably see a black console window. So you'll see all these links basically. Okay. So now, and also it'll be in the editor. These links will show up. And then so now we need to click Open Program. Open Program is now going to allow us to loop through all those profiles. So this is a general pattern for like pagination or the search page and something else. And so we're going to like work our way down. And then when we get to the profile page, we'll maybe scrape it to Google Sheets or something. Okay. So if you double click the open program node, this open program node now supports folders, files. So you can put just a file location or a folder location. In this case, I'm going to keep Chrome, and I'm just going to delete the end of this cheatlayer.com. Where it says automation input, I'm going to put links 1 because that's what we scraped earlier. That'll only show up if we do the Magic Scraper one. If we added the Magic Scraper one node earlier. Excuse me. Okay. So it takes a minute to process it because it's actually filtering the links based on what the Magic Scraper was asking for. Okay. So now it's brought a profile up. Okay, so now maybe let's scrape some data to Google Sheets. We can do like other things like clicking and stuff like that, but this is a good common example. Let's click the Magic Scraper node, Magic Scraper node. Okay. So let's maybe get the LinkedIn profile username. And in this case, I'm not going to use Scrape Browser just to show you the difference, maybe. And then in the second Magic Scraper node, let's get the link, the company position. LinkedIn. Okay. Now let's run that. This is a good practice when building automations, just to run it after each step, just iterate. Also, another good practice is to go to the end of the automation. We're not doing that now, it's kind of funny. But I recommend going to the riskiest part, the riskiest assumption, the hardest part, whatever you're trying to automate first, because a lot of people do like the simple navigation first because it's getting things done, but they get to the end and they realize that it's like hard or impossible, or you need to design it a completely different way. Okay, so in the top right-hand corner, you can see that it's giving a play-by-play, the name, his like position and stuff. Okay, so now let's put this to Google Sheets. Oh, also, if you have like, I should have mentioned this. Yeah. So one of the issues we've had with this bootcamp is we're always like one Chrome extension update behind. So if you had trouble in the last bootcamp, just the Chrome extension hadn't updated yet. So just redo things and it'll match up with what you're watching. Same thing with this bootcamp. There might be some things that you need the latest Chrome extension update for, but it should work in the next auto update. Okay. So because I'm using like some advanced features and things. Okay. So let's add the Magic Scraper node and then Google Sheets node. Google Sheets node allows us to scrape unlimited data to Google Sheets. Okay, and all we need to do is create a new Google Sheet with the same profile that you installed the Chrome extension in Google Chrome. And then, let's see. Okay, so you want to change the read-write mode to write. You want to change the sheet name to sheet 1. And the row 1, you want to click that and click, let's see, Magic Scraper output 3, sorry. Output 3, and let's do output 4. And you can see they correspond to these Magic Scraper nodes we added. If we wanted 1, we would do that, but instead we want 3 and 4. Okay. So let's run this. Are we on time? Okay, we're good on time. Okay, so I think I can stay a little bit over 1, but it's because I can't. We'll probably have like extra stuff at the end of class I can't cover anyway. So if we do, we'll add another class next weekend. I think at least we'll have 1 class on Saturday for OpenAgent Cloud, and a lot of that stuff is like an entire whole class. And Sunday, there's like maybe some advanced things like loops. If we don't get to loops and conditionals today, we can do that. Okay. So sent data to Google Sheets. Okay, so you can see in the Google Sheet, we have the name and their like experience and things. And so let's now maybe go back and loop this. So like what I was mentioning, there's like a visual aspect to this. So in the no code editor, I maybe didn't explain all the navigation controls, but you can alt click and drag like this. If you have a mouse with a scroll wheel, click the scroll wheel in. If you click the scroll wheel in, you can also drag around the mouse like that, and then it'll move around. Scrolling in and out also zooms in and out and things like that. And then you can select nodes and drag them and stuff like that. Okay. So the other cool thing you can do is you can now loop this. So if I connect this output back here, it'll just loop everything we scraped before and just continue on the automation. So I'm just gonna run that. It's like more intuitive that way, right? So that way seems way more intuitive than describing blocks in a chat interface. And I don't think we record loops of videos. And so you can see how the three modalities would have ideal use cases, but they're all very important, I think. Maybe in the future, like it's just an agent that does all three. I don't know. I have to think about that. Okay, so it's done one. Now it's going to the next. It goes a little bit fast because it's like it doesn't need to rescrape the links and stuff. Okay, now it's going to keep going. Scrape all these guys. If we're scraping your profile, I apologize. This is in the name of science. Okay. Okay, I'll just let it stop. So to stop it, I mean, you can put an if. What you really want to do to stop it is put like a conditional statement, but I haven't taught you how to do conditional statements yet. So you can do the file stop now. The design for this would probably be you would add like a conditional statement that checked that it's gotten to the last links or it's run out of links. And oh, did I close it? Whoops. Maybe open it again. Or you would look for like you hit like a certain number of scrapes per day or something. That's more, I think, the better design, since there's a rate limit and you don't know how many you're getting and things like that. And if you want to do pagination, it's basically the same design. It's just another outer loop. Maybe we'll do pagination in like the advanced class. It's essentially two loops, one loop for each profile, and then an outer loop for what you would do is you would get all the pages, or you could turn it into a variable, and you would put it in a Google Sheet. And you would just loop through all the pages, and then from that loop, you would just build this inner loop basically. So right, let's go back. So that's how to do loops. I think I saved it. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So again, just scraping the links on the search page. We're opening each link. We're scraping something from that link, or maybe he's doing something on that link, sending it somewhere, and then looping it. And then what I was saying before is if you wanted to create a pagination, it would just be this loop. But you would magic scrape the list of pages from a Google Sheet, or you get one page and add a variable, and then loop through all the pages on an outer loop, exact same design basically. All right, let's go back. So that's one of the most common patterns on the internet. So basically, like I mentioned, like almost every website has this. So if you practice this, you should now know how to automate most websites on the internet. And all automations also fall into like three categories. So I also like teaching this other use case. So scraping data, filling out forms, and using APIs. I've mentioned this in earlier classes. And essentially, if you learn this use case, all automations are kind of some kind of combinations of these. So through both of these examples, if you practice them, you should be able to piece together and automate any website. Every website kind of falls into both of these use cases, actually. So let's do the next one, maybe. I like doing Twitter for this one. Let's go to like a random tweet. That's random. Okay, maybe this one. It's everything is a little spicy. It's kind of funny. Okay. So let me take this URL. I mentioned this a little bit earlier in class. Like a good practice when designing automations is to go to the end of the automation, building whatever is the hardest part first. And that there's a couple reasons for this. One of them is just that it's like motivating. If you finish that, everything else is easier. So, but a lot of people, you can save a lot of time if you do this. So, it's I guess we're kind of doing that now. So, okay, go to new automation, go to File, New, and open Agent Studio. Double click the Start node, and I'm going to paste in this Twitter address now into the Start node. Let's run that. Let's look at time. Okay, we're good on time. Okay, so we've opened that up. And let's go back here. And let's use the Magic Scraper node again. This time we're not going to use browser mode. We're just going to get the text of the tweet. So just describe what you want to scrape, the text of the top tweet on the page. You can practice, this is kind of fun, practice Magic Scraper. It tends to be the most valuable node, I think, because some of the most valuable agents we build are basically understanding some deep industry insight and then filling out a form. And I don't know why, it's just this pattern. I guess humans evolved into, this is just the pattern we communicate with, I guess. Like even like resumes and jobs are all forms. So it's very interesting. So in order to fill out a form, you usually just need a Magic Scraper node and someone to distill like pages of their rules and insight. The same thing with the trading agent into the Magic Scraper node. And if you paste it where it says target in English, then it allows you to add like logical reasoning steps onto the operation. So you can do more than just scraping stuff. So you can say things like scrape only the funny tweets, or scrape only tweets with the word cheat layer in it, or you can have like pages of like rules and things like that that explain if you should make a trade or not, and at the end of it you can say yes or no. So you can say if there's the word cheat layer, say yes, or if we should make this trade, say yes, and stuff like that. Okay, I'm just gonna run this. Okay. All right, so it scraped the tweet at the top right side of the page, and then let's go back here. And now let's scrape, let's click, use the Magic Clicker node. Okay, so click the Magic Clicker node. And then now it's when you click the Magic Clicker node, it's going to take a screenshot of the screen. So what you want to do is move the mouse to where it says around post to reply and click that. Okay. And then so that's going to generate, let's see. The Magic Clicker node is going to generate a target. If you double click the click node, you'll see it kind of generates a target. Sometimes it's pretty good. This time I'm going to edit it because I don't want it to get confused because it says button. So I'm going to say text input that says post to reply. Oops. That should be good enough. And then maybe let's add the GPT-4 node after that as well, in the interest of time. So if you add the GPT-4 node and you double click the GPT-4 node, you will you'll get this prompt, right? It's like using GPT-4 and ChatGPT. So you can say, let's see, generate a funny tweet, reply to the tweet. The automation input is the Magic Scraper input 1. And then when you say type output, it's true. All right. Let's see. Any questions so far? Oh yeah, there's some questions. Okay. Request. I can work behind its work. I'm not sure. Please contact support for personal account issues. And okay. I don't know what that means. Multiple agents behind a dashboard. Okay. How does this work? Wait, if the data is spread over multiple pages or have links to pages from where we scrape data, how does it look? Hold on, let me see if I understand this. Oh, I see. So you would basically use multiple open program nodes like this. So you had like multiple pages, yeah, like what we did earlier. Just add an open program node, open that other page, and then scrape it from there, things like that. Okay, let's go back. We start scraping data, images that require. Yep, you can scrape. Well, that's an interesting question. So in the US, it's only legal to scrape public websites. So if you scrape things that require a login, since you're always logged in, they can always track you. And there's like no legal way to get around that. So if you do it at scale, they can sue you and you can get your account banned, and that's always possible. So the way people get around this, well, the way people get around this is they create something called satellite accounts. A lot of influencers and famous people do this so that their main account doesn't get like destroyed and things like that. But you're not. That doesn't save you from getting sued. Actually, maybe even makes it worse. So if the website's not large and they're only using it based on like normal usage that they expect, then I don't think it violates their terms of service, and they shouldn't be okay. They shouldn't like come after you for it. So it should be okay. But you should maybe ask them, see if it's okay. I can tell you things. Yeah. Yes, you can. It opens a new tab, or you can open a new tab. Oh, and you can close them too. Yeah, I've been closed them. Cheat layer certification program. Not yet. Well, we can think about it. Is it possible to click on extension after opening a site and save the recording? Click on an extension. Oh yeah, you can interact with other extensions. Only with the desktop version. So save the yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're gonna automate extensions. Okay. All right, no more questions, I think. Okay, we can come back. So let's finish this. Oh yeah, I didn't finish running this. So let me finish running this. GPT-4. Andy scraper output 1. Type output true. Clicking. Text input that says post replying. Oh, not browser mode. Desktop mode. Okay, so clicking also has a browser and desktop mode. You may notice it's taking a little bit longer, I guess, like a few seconds longer now to click things, and that's because it's defaulting to browser mode, which is very powerful. So what I mean by that is, I don't think any other tool does this right now. Essentially, we use, other tools are trying to figuring out semantic targets, but they have to also solve off-screen browser interactions, and so we've solved it with a WebSocket server. And this allows you to click off-screen links, basically. It allows you to click off-screen elements, essentially. That's my point. But in this case, we're just going to use desktop mode. It goes a little bit faster in desktop mode, so you can just see the difference maybe. And I'll show you. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, you can see the top left-hand corner. In the recording, you can go back. It gave you like a little preview that said post your reply, and that was what it was clicking. And then after it clicked it, that little preview disappeared. So it was like in the top left-hand corner up there. And now, okay, now it's typing the output. Okay. The therapist sees me, just stop taking. That's not really funny. It's not really funny, but you get the idea. You can maybe make it funny if you're funny. I don't think the models themselves are very good at things, but that's the value actually, right? If the models were good at trading and making jokes and all these things, then people would just use them. Since you guys have the deep industry insight in trading and these markets that no one else does, that isn't yet in the model, that's the value that you can add right now, and you can create like a solution. And even if in the future that solution is created like by the model, you can create a business. And like personal relationships will always be a defensive moat. And there are certain things that people will just not want to do themselves. Always, I think, like maintaining databases and stuff like that. So it's something to add to our previous discussions on defensive moat and finding ideas to work on. Okay. So this example is like, it seems simple, but it went through all the use cases: scraping data, filling out forms. This posting is a form. So most social automations posting stuff is filling out forms. And then we used an API with GPT-4. Oh no, sorry, Gemini. Gemini. So it's generating stuff, and it goes over basically all the use cases. So if you practice this, you should now be able to automate any website, any program, anything. Click, scrape, filling out forms, pulling in APIs. This is everything. I mean, there's some extra stuff that I'm going to cover, but this is everything you really need to automate any website, actually. So those are the fundamentals for building any agent in OpenAgent Studio. With OpenAgent Cloud, we're going to make it even easier to install things, so that I'm going to show you next. You don't need to install it anymore. It instantly pulls up the latest version of OpenAgent Studio in our cloud, and then you can start editing it in the cloud version. And it's smooth enough that we can edit automations now in the cloud. It's pretty interesting. The reason it's interesting is because there's like a lot of setup issues with Mac, and since we're in beta, it's going to take us a long time and all that stuff. But we can ensure the Linux version is always up to date, tested, working. And since you don't have to install anything, it's like an image basically. You don't need to understand what that means. Is in cloud you have images and you have hard drives, and if you create an image of a hard drive, that means that I've already installed everything for OpenAgent Studio and everything you need to automate. You can copy that image and then spin it up in 1 minute, and you can instantly start working. I'll show you in a second. You can instantly start working without having to download anything, without having to set up security issues and all that stuff. And it's already even set up with your API key. If you know what environment variables are, developers might like this. We automate setting your environment variables in OpenAgent Cloud, so that you don't have to set up your keys and anything like that. So it's really like a button click, and it works. That's the easiest way, I think. If you're having trouble setting up with Mac and Linux, and Windows users should have no issue. This should make it a lot easier. And we're going to be subsidizing the cost down to like really cheap, like $12 a month or something. So it's super cheap, really easy way to start automating in the cloud, having like a team of agents running in the cloud, and they pay for themselves really quickly, because even just the TikTok agent is like 18 times better CPM than TikTok ads, and you get 700 views per day. And so like, it very quickly pays for itself if you just run one agent. But you're going to be running like, if this cloud instance is running 24/7, I'm going to pack ours with agents running 24/7, constantly posting things, not just once in the day at 10 a.m., but every 3 hours. And we're going to try and test that and push that to the limit and see what we can do with like one agent in the cloud. And then we're going to scale that up to thousands. And so we're trying to keep things simple right now. We don't want to blow people's minds, but we're not even started. Like this is like actually entirely the beginning. We're not even close to starting yet. Like we don't have the documentation all set up and things like that. But very soon, as soon as OpenAgent Cloud is like sets up in seconds, you can upload a Loom video and generate agents, and we can scale to thousands of agents in the cloud. We're going to use that ourselves to grow, and then teach people how to do it basically. So some thoughts on the 3 modalities that we're working on today. So, okay, let's see okay. We're short on time, so I'm going to try and get through this. Let's get through this. Okay. So I talked a little bit about this. The Magic Scraper node, it's the most powerful thing probably we have. So let me go a few more examples, just so you understand how powerful it is. Okay, so I'm going to add the magic scraper node. Actually, I'm going to delete my start node. This is useful when prototyping automations. I'm going to take everything out of the start node and make it empty. This is a trick when prototyping automations because, like I mentioned, you want to go to the end, test the riskiest assumption. Typically, it's the reasoning in the magic scraper node. You okay, buddy? Goodbye. All right. So let's okay, yeah, let's use this tweet maybe. If let's create like a conditional statement. If the text of the tweet includes the word software, say yes only. Such a simple example. But we have we have an agent with like 6 pages of rules. See how it says yes in the top right hand corner? So instead of scraping things, you can build logical reasoning into these steps. This is really powerful and also useful for building future-proof agents, because if you build these agents on OpenAgent Studio, we're basing this on a foundational model. That's changing over time. Like we used to use GPT-4, using Gemini, trained Geminis, a couple different models now. And then in the future, we're very sure they're going to be like a big update, maybe at the end of the year. And there's probably going to be more like foundational models at higher scales, because people are buying data centers that are huge and they haven't even started training those data centers yet. So we're going to get better and better models that are just going to run the same scaffolding, which means like things like this magic scraper node that's trading and stuff like that, or all the agents that you're using these logical reasoning steps in will automatically get upgraded. That's my whole point. So this is one way to formalize riding the technological wave. What I mean by that is if you build agents in OpenAgent Studio, it happens automatically. The next model that we get, we'll switch to that. You will get access to that. All your customers will get access to that. And your product will just get better over time. It's cool. Like we've been seeing it in the last few models, actually. Like our targeting is getting better. The magic scraper is getting better. So I didn't realize it until like maybe the last model. But like, yeah, all we have to do is like keep switching. We've built enough technology scaffolding to reach. If you imagine like AGI, we'll have all the same scaffolding that we have for like scheduling, like orchestration, navigation, controls, semantic targets, cloud, queues. We built so many things to solve the problem that this is exactly what AGI needs. The models are just going to get there over time, and it's just going to get better and better over time. So cool thing is we're building like evals for things that aren't possible today, but it'll just work. That's an exciting thing. Actually, we need help with evals. If you're an open source developer, check out our GitHub. That's one things we need help with. And I think it's really important for iterating our testing loop. So okay, let's get back here. Oh yeah, testing loops. I think I covered 2 loops today, so I'm kind of running out of time. I want to make sure I get done by 1 because we have this wedding. I'm gonna run another class next weekend. I'll send out an email. Next weekend is going to be OpenAgent Cloud on Saturday, definitely. So we had OpenAgent Cloud. I'm going to show you how it works because it works on my machine. But we have it launched and set up. We finally got things working, but we didn't. The Chrome extension isn't published yet, so we're always like 1 Chrome extension update behind. And in the last class or last weekend, it was like really confusing. So I wanted to make sure that we don't like confuse people and stuff like that. So all right, we got let's see. Connect the nodes, conditional branches. Okay, maybe I'll do conditional branches next Sunday. I didn't really have time to cover that today. You can scrape unlimited data Google Sheets. You can also send emails. Maybe I'll do a quick email example. That's pretty quick. We didn't cover how to send emails. So let's add a magic scraper node. Send an email. Send it to myself. I'm going to double click the to property, run sheetlayer.com, and then in the variable property, this is useful for programmatically sending emails. So maybe you have like a set of rules of who to forward emails to in your organization when they come in. So you can have the autoresponder node trigger this agent and then have it send this email to someone based on a set of rules that you add to the magic scraper node actually. And that Magic Scraper output would have just an email address as an output, so you can select this, and then it would send it to that person. Maybe I don't have time to cover that today, so maybe next Sunday's class. So test. This will just send the magic. Oh, wait, if you click body variable, and then click Magic Scraper output 2, it'll actually send the output. Now I was keeping my time. I gotta go soon. Okay. Send emails, human in the loop, integrate any API. Ooh, okay. So to add APIs into OpenAgent Studio, you can send data to an API like this. Maybe we'll set up like a Zapier webhook real quick. I think I have enough time for that. Which account? I think it's this one. I haven't used Zapier in a while. Let's see. Oh yeah, catch hook. Oh yeah, I was doing this. I was just testing. Okay, cool. Let's use this. Probably tested this last time. And I put my catch hook in the URL in the send data node. And then where it says body value 3, let's just put Magic Scraper output 2. Run that. I'm going kind of quick because we're out of time today and I got a wedding to go to, so I'll cover things more in depth in Sunday's class. This is just a big, quick overview on how to actually start building your agents. You should now know how to automate any process. The combination of those two examples, if you practice them, you can use to automate anything actually. It's really just scraping data, filling out forms, and pulling in APIs. All automations, some combination of that. Like the more tedious things are if-else, loops, and stuff like that. But I wouldn't focus, like I mentioned, don't focus on the navigation stuff part first. Prove that the agent can actually do the riskiest part. For some reason, people avoid that. But it's like, prove the Magic Scraper node can actually do the reasoning and it actually works and all that stuff. Okay. So let's go back here, integrate an API, and the last few slides. Okay, we covered the no code editor. I like teaching basics. Everything on the slide has been covered. OpenAgent Cloud. Anything locally? Oh, did I share the slides? Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, and we recommend using Windows and OpenAgent Cloud instead of Mac. It's just a lot easier because Mac has a lot of security issues if you have a business. And that's mostly important here. We covered Project Atlas, so it's like a research project that builds open-ended problems. Okay, so maybe I didn't explain a little bit about this, but the way it works is essentially a state machine takes a screenshot of every step and considers every action it can take, and then adds the node to no code graph for you. Oh, I should have gone over an example. Let's see. I don't think we really have time. Give it like a QR code, or tell it to download like a TikTok video and add like a voiceover or something to it, and it'll generate the Python code to do it. That's one of the more fun things to do. Okay. Let's go to the last slide. Okay. OpenAgent Cloud. Okay, so this is exciting. Okay, so OpenAgent Cloud takes everything that we've been doing, makes it a lot easier. One, everything installing the desktop version no longer takes like hours to set. Some people, if they've got like a slow internet connection, you have to download it. That takes like an hour, and then you have to unzip it. That takes like 5 minutes, but it takes a while. And then Mac users have like security setup issues and all that stuff. This like instantly starts you. So you click a button, it opens, everything's installed in the cloud, and you start building agents. So a lot of that stuff is useful in getting to the time to value and the aha moment and all that stuff, but also just like it's tedious to set things up. And that's not what people should spend time on. So the other way it's useful is you can upload hold on, let me just show you. You can upload a Loom video. I'm not going to show you maybe today because that's going to take a while. But you can click a button and it instantly opens it up. I have another way of streaming it using WebRTC. This is using like everything I've learned over the years. So all the like advanced tricks I've learned in technology and like WebRTC streaming and low latency streaming and things like that. So this is actually super nice. Like it feels like locally, it's like really smooth and easy to use. And this is in my browser. There's a full screen in my browser. This is running a cloud server, and it can do everything we can do like we were just doing there. All you have to do is log in. You can like generate images. Let me do an image real quick. Oh, the only thing, it doesn't have a webcam. I don't think the server has a webcam, or maybe they do. That'd be weird. Okay. So, open agent. The words open agent spelled. So not that. And I'll just let that finish. So like the cool thing is I just clicked it, it instantly popped up, right? So the reason that works, I explained a little bit earlier, is it's an image. It's a Linux image, which means it's already installed. We update it with the latest version. So when you click the restart button, it'll automatically update to the latest version using from our GitHub. And so we'll no longer have issues with updates and installing things and all that stuff. That shouldn't be what people worry about. But, oh, and this Loom video thing is really exciting. Okay, so the Loom video thing is, we've been working on it for a while. I've been talking about it. Open agent, cool. Open agent. All right, that's good enough. But it's essentially, it's a problem that affects every large enterprise and government. They all lose expertise. Everyone has Loom videos. Like thousands of companies, I don't know, millions of companies, I don't know, hundreds of thousands. I don't know how many companies. Probably have thousands of Loom videos, or every company has at least one. We have one. So what people use Loom videos for is actually explaining processes. And for some reason, it hasn't been touched. No one's done this yet. And so there's all these agents people have. You probably have friends with Loom videos. As soon as we release this feature, this will be like a gift to them. You might want to tell them about it, because there might be some processes that they've been doing manually and explaining to their VA or someone, and like stuff like they could turn into an agent just by uploading a Loom video. Maybe not entirely. Like the way it works is you upload an agent and it generates the no code graph for all the steps, and you run it. And it does all the steps, but sometimes it messes, like what we're doing today, sometimes it messes up the targeting, or you need more, like if there's multiple buttons on the page, you need more precise targeting and things like that. But it does a lot of this work for you. Like for super complex things, it could take hours to like add each one of these nodes, and it's worth it if you do it once and you automate it and it costs you thousands of dollars per month, but it's still a tedious thing to go through that first hour. So that we're trying to solve that like first tedious step of like building the agent and automation, because typically that's still, there's a lot of friction there in every RPA tool, and like it doesn't really help. Like it makes it much easier, I think, for our customers who are actually struggling to like record their processes and upload them, have it run in the cloud, so you don't have to have like a PC running and things like that. So it solves a lot of problems at once, basically. Okay. So it's not ready because you don't have the extension. You need the latest extension update for you to use OpenAgent Cloud, so it's not published yet. So I'm not gonna show you guys. I don't even have time to do it today. Probably I gotta go now actually. So but I'll show it to you guys next week. It allows you to basically run OpenAgent Cloud instances on our servers, and they instantly pop up, and they instantly have everything installed, and you can just start running stuff. That's all over here. Okay, so I'm gonna go. And let me check if there are any more questions. Sorry, I'm super tired. I'm so tired. Like, we got OpenAgent Cloud working this weekend, but I was driving to this wedding, so I had to drive, and I had meetings all week. So in between driving, I had to take meetings and stuff. It's kind of crazy. Like we got into this accelerator. A lot of things are happening, and we're super overwhelmed. So I don't really have time to deal with everything. It's kind of funny. But hopefully, if we get into this accelerator, the hope is we can raise some money, which means that then we'll be able to hire people to help me, because right now it's really just me. Like I'm doing kind of everything. So like we have support staff and we can hire people, but still, in order to, and I've been trying to get like open source developers to join the cause and things, but you have to, it's really hard. You have to, it's just like hiring, you have to like attract people. And we got some Hacker News post traction. That was kind of cool. So if you want to help us out, star us on GitHub. That would be really helpful. And also share this YouTube channel, like this YouTube video with people. I think it's helping a lot of people, and they're understanding that we're solving like meaningful problems. And you don't need cheat layer, like these concepts. You don't really need cheat layer. You can use with like you can apply these concepts with like a landing page builder and a lot of automation tools and things basically. Okay, so let's see. Any more questions? Clicker. Okay. Scrape data from the service. Oh, it might not be legal. Yeah, you should probably check with them and their terms of service if you've subscribed to a service and it's logged in. And that's always a consideration. You can sometimes you can ask them, and if it's like within normal usage, normal human usage, like not taking advantage of them, they won't usually care. The clicker. Oh yeah. You probably need to update if you don't see the clicker button or the run button. The run button is here, file run, and we just renamed this to Magic Clicker. It used to say click. It's the same thing basically, and the Mac version I think still says click, I think. But it's click. So make sure to update to the latest version, and you should see this click. That's a very important thing. And then so file runs there. Okay. Go back. No, it's tomorrow actually. Yeah, tomorrow's the wedding. Today is like the dress rehearsal, so I gotta go. Yeah. Okay, guys, I think those are all the questions. All right. Thank you, guys. I'll see you next week. We'll send out an email. And remember, if you have a landing page, add, like we didn't really talk about this. So yeah, if you have a landing page, remember to add the Vercel, GitHub, and Stripe stuff so that we can validate it strongly by charging customers. So you can tell them that it's not ready and it's like a pre-sale and that you're building this and all that stuff, but you want to make sure that you're targeting a problem that's important enough that they're still willing to pay, even if it's a pre-sale. So you want to, those problems exist actually. You just have to go find them. And after today's class, hopefully you have all the tools. Go back and practice what I did and these basic, these two patterns. These are very important. And if you practice these two patterns, go try and apply it to, we did LinkedIn, right? Try to apply this pattern to Twitter or Facebook. It should work exactly the same way and you should be able to rebuild it. And if you can do that, congratulations, you can automate most of the internet. All right, guys. I'll see you next week.